Hey there, Patrick here again. A quick update for you. January 1st, 2022. Happy New Year. So I got an email from Binance, that earlier they had said that you don't have to close your account. It says, while you will not be required to close your account by December 31st, trading access and new user onboarding remains restricted. So in other words, it's pretty much dead for people in Ontario, Canada. So Binance is finished. It says this will remain in effect until further notice. We are working hard to meet regulatory expectations, and there are several steps we have to take before this can happen. So I hope it clarifies, answers some of your questions. Please stay tuned for announcement in the coming months. So in other words, now they're saying they're closed for business in Ontario, right? Trading access and new user onboarding remains restricted. Well, you're not required to close your account, but if your trading is restricted and no new users can, it's the same thing. So that's unfortunate. I just thought I'd mention that. And then the other thing was that I watched a very good discussion on Bitcoin between Isaac Morehouse and a couple other gentlemen on his YouTube channel, Isaac Morehouse, and it's 2.5 hours long. And there was one argument that jumped out at me that I thought I'd just include. They're talking about Craig Wright. They call it Bitcoin and the Craig Wright conundrum. So these three gentlemen, they sound like they're positive BSV, especially at the end of the video. They say that they're positive BSV. But they have very good reasoning amongst themselves about whether Craig Wright could be a total fraud, and they argue against that for a number of reasons. And this one gentleman, I'm just going to post a very brief clip from it. If you want to check it out, I'll include the link to the full video. It's worthwhile checking out. And they also mentioned in that video a website that talks about, let's see if I can find it here, a website that talks about the history of Bitcoin called Bitcoin Origins, and that is at vu.hn. And so they talk about that, and it's a long, I guess you could say an extendedly long blog post about the history of Bitcoin. And that's mentioned in their video as well. So I'm in the process of checking that out. It's kind of interesting. So I'll include a link to that as well. So that's all the news basically I have for the first day of January 2021. Just a couple of things that I thought were interesting that I would pass on and record. Current price of Bitcoin today in Canadian dollars, starting off the new year, is just over 60,000 Canadian. So I hope you have yourself a great year. If you have any comments or questions, and also the comments on that three-way discussion are very interesting on Isaac Morehouse YouTube channel. You may want to check out some of there's over 100 comments on it, but some of them are quite interesting comments of people that sound quite knowledgeable about, the whole crypto space between BTC and BSV, which I'm still trying to learn. So thank you for watching. Have yourself a fantastic 2022. I wish you good success in all things, and we'll talk to you again soon. See you later. Bye-bye. Oh, sorry. I'm going to include that clip. I'll just include it somewhere convenient for you. Take care now. Bye-bye.
This brings me to a wild theory. If, let's say, Dave and Craig, did work on this and they did have this stash of Bitcoin and Dave dies and Craig knows that Dave loved the vision of Bitcoin and cared about that, and that he did not have a good relationship with his brother, that these hard drives that this Patrick Page dude took, that there's a ton of coins on there, and that Craig and this Patrick Page dude, they know it, and they're like, they want to move those coins. And you could say you're doing it to preserve Dave's memory, to keep that money from his estranged brother or whatever reason, but or just because Craig wants it. And they can't move them because they're afraid at some point Ira will be like, hold on a second. Somebody will put the pieces together. Those coins came from Dave Kleiman's. Those belong to me. So he needed a court to say Dave does not have ownership over any of these early Bitcoins to free him up to move those Bitcoins that were on that hard drive that whole time that Ira never got back from Patrick Page.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's one possible